What's up, guys? Welcome back to the show. I'm Russ Fritz.
And I'm Nathan Johns.
And the racing world is on absolute fire right now. Over the offseason, we heard about all the driver shuffles and sponsor drama in the high limit sprint car series. But as they say, the more things change, the more they stay the same. We have a massive show lined up that hits every corner of the map, from the high stakes labor wars shaking up NASCAR to that logic defying photo finish in the Vegas dirt, all the way down to the gritty red clay of Alabama. We're not just scratching the surface, we're diving into the chaos. So grab a drink, settle in, and strap in tight, because this isn't just racing.
This is Switchin Grooves.
We gotta love this show.
I love it. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nathan Johns.
And I'm Russ Fritz as usual. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. How are you, Russ? I hear you got a little bit of a storm going on out there.
Oh, a nasty windstorm knocked the power out. We were going to go on like 2 hours ago, but
little technical difficulties. We're getting there.
Well, that's nothing on our fault, on our part. There's nothing we could do about the power going out. So
it's a darn Mother Nature.
I wanted to do this a couple of days ago, and yeah, I've been sick. I was sick all weekend last weekend, just real nasty.
I've had a lot going on also, so I know how that feels.
I think it was the same crap going around that our good buddy Matt from Breakhard got, but
yeah, he was pretty messed up from that.
Oh,
so
man.
I'm glad that you're feeling better. I'm glad he got better. So
yeah, I didn't even get to do my Fallujah recap last week because I got sick, so I just kind of skipped it. I mean, there's no point in doing it now. So
I completely missed the recap of Phoenix, although there really wasn't much to recap there. It was pretty stereotypical Phoenix race. There wasn't really a whole lot of excitement. I think it's kind of a good reason why we don't go back there for the championship race, is because it's the same story every time. I mean, for those who haven't watched, Ryan Blaney won the race. Christopher Bell finished second. So the two stereotypical spring race, teams doing what they do best. JGR still, choked on, pit road strategy. So I mean, it's
the only thing I'm gonna bitch about is, like I always do, and we had all those cautions there towards the end of the race.
Yeah.
That is exactly why these guys need to stay up on the damn racetrack. Do not let them go down on that apron anymore. Put the double yellow line back around that track and keep the rule. You stay on the damn racing surface, because what's the point in having the shape of it? They might as well just reconfigure the whole damn thing and be done with it.
I did watch some of the IndyCar race, and that is a very valid point. They had very little crashes. It was more or less just people putting each other in the wall from using up all of what's now the backstretch.
Well, they can't
all the crashes.
They can't go down on that apron like the NASCARs do.
Yeah, I was kind of intrigued by that, because that definitely gave you a different perspective of how the racing could be if they stayed on the racing surface versus what they do currently. I mean, there was just a lot of, I wouldn't call it lazy blocks, but lazy moves that just caused chaos. The IndyCar race I thought was way more exciting than the Cup race, and that should be a big problem.
So
good.
No, go ahead, finish up Phoenix. I thought I was just going to move
I
on.
was gonna recap with JGR. They've had a
Oh,
rough week this week. So go ahead, do yours. I'll finish off mine.
well, I was just going to say I don't know if we talked about it, but we got news about McFarland getting ready to run some cup or some Xfinity races or
Yeah,
O'Reilly
you
or
and I
whatever the
talked
hell it
about
is.
that during the week off screen, and I honestly, and I'm going to take this opinion very strongly. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but this is just where I come from on this. He really has no more experience racing than I do. Like when it comes to cups, Xfinity Series experience, or really racing in NASCAR in general, he may have less experience than me in that, and I have zero experience. And like,
Well, it's
if you're gonna call somebody from what I think we're gonna call it eight O'Reilly or not O'Reilly, eight ARCA starts, one truck start that lasted 6 laps, and all of a sudden you're going to give him an O'Reilly, O'Reilly seat with RCR, one of the top teams in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. What makes him any different than me? What makes him any different than anybody who races at the local dirt track, or at this point, street races? The only reason he has that seat is because he's got such a massive following. It's more or less a publicity stunt, and that's one of the harder tracks to race at. They signed him to a part-time deal where his first race is going to be at Rockingham, where the Cup guys aren't going to be there. I guarantee he'll find his way into a truck ride that weekend. I really don't agree with the decision to call him up. I mean, yes, big publicity deal, but his experience is about the furthest thing away from being in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. There's guys who race in the truck series and won championships who are now in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, and now they're on Cup. He's just stupid.
You were saying the same exact things that Kyle Busch said about it, and I see your point. I absolutely agree. I I don't believe there's enough experience there yet. So I
It's just
mean,
a social media following. That's the only reason he's getting promoted. Is because all those fans are going to go buy all that merchandise
I
off
mean,
that. That's the only reason it's really there.
Keelan Harvick has more starts in a late model than or anything close to a car that you race in NASCAR than
Keelan
Cletus
Harvick,
does.
Brexton Bush. I mean, Brexton's now in a junior late model, but he's raced more dirt races than Cletus will probably ever run. He's raced really more races in general than he's probably up there with Keelan Harvick. And Keelan Harvick's pretty much running everything NASCAR and go karting. Like, if I'm going to rate those two, I'd have to say Keelan's a little bit more experienced than Brexton, but both of them outdo, McFarland, like by a lot. I mean, for crying out loud, Aubrey Larson has more starts, I feel like, in a top tier equipment than Cletus McFarland does. I mean, nothing against Cletus. I'm really excited for him, but that is a really, really bad idea, I feel like. A part-time deal, I can understand it. I'm glad it's a part-time deal and not a full-time, because then I would question everything to do with NASCAR's eligibility system. Let's not forget what last year they told Mike Wallace, who has been in the sport for how many years, that he could not race a Cup Series ride because he's been out of the seat too long. And then all of a sudden they're going to give Cletus McFarland a start. He ran one season last year in O'Reilly, and it was a part-time, or not O'Reilly, in ARCA. He made one start in O'Reilly. He made his first truck start this year. And we're not even, 2 months into the season. The season literally started, 5 races ago. And now he's already signed a part-time deal with a pretty high-tier O'Reilly Auto Parts Series team.
And here,
I can't wait to see Cletus and Austin Hill get into it, because that's one fight that I actually might want pay-per-view for, just to have them beat the crap out of each other.
Okay, so
because I guarantee Cletus is going to be dumb.
So let's reiterate something to the fans right now. We are not questioning McFarland's talents or abilities. We are questioning NASCAR's decision and approval process.
I mean, there isn't anything really to question when it comes to Cletus. We know that he has very little starts in NASCAR. Like, I'm not saying that, I'm not wishing him good luck, but for all the guys that are in O'Reilly, they have way more starts than he has made. They've been racing since they were little. Cletus basically has us starting because of his social media following. It's not because he's worked his way up the ranks like Kyle Busch says. He has what? I think he ran a part-time season where he, had one good finish at Talladega. Daytona he got wrecked twice last year. He actually did good at Daytona this year. But my question is, what makes you go from an ARCA, almost top 10? I think he finished 11th. So it wasn't even a top 10. What makes you go from ARCA 11th to debuting in your O'Reilly Autoverse series, one step down from Cup? I guarantee next year that they're going to offer him a Cup Series start at Bowman Gray or some sort of off-the-wall race that doesn't count for points. And if they do, I honestly don't know if I could watch it because it's just going to be more gimmicks. And I don't know if we've talked about the All-Star race format. I am so far against that thing, it's not even funny.
Yeah, we got into
there's
that.
a lot of hot takes this week.
We got into that a week or so ago.
Yeah.
But,
although I forgot to bring my hammer in. Here, I'll just use my thing as a panel. NASCAR is still in session with Chris Gabehart and JGR's debacle.
I thought they settled that.
Nope. Spire has now chimed in.
Oh boy.
I thought was hilarious because I agree with Eric's points. Eric Estep with Out of the Groove, he made some very valid points when it comes to the statements that Jeff Dickerson, I think his name is, made from Spire. He did answer the questions, but he left room to kind of cover his bases. Like, they weren't fully answered questions. Like, for example, I think they said something along the lines of, it's not the same position, but there is little holes in the story that they left details out of that kind of make you think that they know what they did and there is some question if it was right. I mean, the fact that I'm pretty sure Carson Hosar posted the Google Maps track from where the big Toyota dealership is versus where Spire and Chris Gabehart met for their meeting and they had the private investigator, which I still think is hilarious that JGR hired a private investigator for a former employee. If that's the case,
crazy.
If that's the case, I wonder how many employers be following us around. Like, that's just so dumb. Like, you have to be really shady to do something like that to a former employee. Like, I can't even defend JGR for that. Like, that is so shady that it's not even funny. I mean, it's bad enough that they essentially got called out for what every single fan knows, that Ty Gibbs is getting preferential treatment over all the rest of the team. He doesn't have to be in meetings, which honestly does not surprise me at all that they don't make him go because he is Joe Gibbs' grandson. Shocker. But the details that came out this week are a little surprising. JGR hired a private investigator. The timeline on Spire's end that does match what Chris Gabehart said and partially what Joe Gibbs said. That supposedly Chris Gabehart wasn't getting paid and that Spire swooped in to pick him up. That Spire is claiming that the stealing of sponsorship happened all the time. And he referenced, I believe it was an event at Phoenix where they were trying to steal a sponsor off another team. To me, I don't see that as unusual. Not just for JGR, not for Spire in general. We see sponsors change hands all the time. I mean, maybe it's just me, but, I know Stuart Haas had sponsorship that JGR picked up and that Spire picked up and that other teams picked up. Trackhouse. I can't really defend that across any team. I feel like that just happens in the sport and that's normal. So the fact that they're claiming that Spire tried to poach sponsorship from JGR honestly feels like a really, really, really chicken you-know-what move. Because you do the exact same thing. It's a really soft move, if you ask me. Like, I don't even know how to defend JGR statements. I mean, yes, I can't stand Denny Hamlin, but Denny Hamlin is in a really awkward spot. He either defends Chris Gabehart or he defends the team that he drives for and has a technical alliance with. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows that he's going to defend JGR so he can keep his company. But at the same time, Chris Gabehart and him had a big,
Just stay the
big
hell out of
relationship.
it.
Like, honestly, I wish he could, but we all know Denny won't. We know that ain't going to happen. I mean,
Right.
it still makes me laugh, and I think it was Eric made this point this week or with his post race analysis. JGR still hasn't learned. Literally, they made a 4-tire stop on the final pit stop, and ultimately, Ryan Blaney, whose team couldn't do anything right on pit road, like they lost positions every time they came down pit road. I think the last pit stop they lost at least one spot, and yet they still won the race over a team that took 4 tires. Like, I don't even know how you can get that unfortunate. One of these days, they're just going to start taking 2 tires and be done with it. Last pit stop, take 2 tires. Like, this is 2 years or 2 races in a row. They've got screwed by taking 4 tires. I mean, they had 20 laps to go versus 2 last year, and they still couldn't pull it off. You would have thought the tires would have fallen off. Nope.
On a green white checker, do you think they would have just took 2 tires and been done with it, especially racing for the championship? That was
it would have made way more sense. But I mean, they did the same thing. 2 to go versus 20 to go. Either way, you still lost on a 4-tire call. Eventually, they're just going to take 2 tires, but at that point, it isn't going to matter because it's not the championship race anymore. It baffles me. They have found every single different way to lose this championship, whether it's overheating the car, whether it's a 4-tire stop, whether it's lack of driving talent left, just running out of talent. I can't wrap my head around some of the ways they've lost these championships or how they've lost these races.
So let's leave that in the past and talk about the show hitting the desert. And now the NASCAR Westward Swing is rolling into Las Vegas Motor Speedway this weekend. Now, for you tech nerds, remember LVMS is a 1.5 mile tri-oval with those massive 20-degree bank turns.
Yes.
This is a huge strategic test because it's the second of 7 straight tracks that are going to make up a big chunk of the 10-race chase format later this year. So here's what the schedule looks like. Saturday, March 14th, you've got the Una. I forgot how to say that. La Una for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at 2:30 p.m.
I had to look up how to pronounce it.
And Sunday, you've got the main event, the Pennzoil 400 at 4 p.m.
Presented by Jiffy Lube.
So, I say keep an eye on Josh Berry. He's actually the defending winner for the spring race there. And that was a massive win for the Wood brothers to get their 101st win in the 21 car. So you got 36 cars entered for 267 lap, 400.5 mile grind. So what do you think?
I honestly, I have to go against Josh Berry. I hate saying it because I know he did good last year, but at the same time, every race he's been good at, he somehow manages to fall off. I feel like he got lucky last year with that win with Wood Brothers. I really don't think he can do it again. I mean, I will give you credit with the Fords. Fords seem to perform way better than everybody else here, and I don't know why. But honestly, I kind of want to look at Penske and Roush Keselowski. Yeah, Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. I mean, Brad has had success here. Joey has had success here. I feel like Ryan Blaney has a chance at doing good. I mean, I don't really see Cendric or Front Row doing very much anything, but I can't count out Penske and Roush Fenway Keselowski. I mean, I don't know of really anybody else who is, going to be able to compete for a win consistently here. I mean, Maybe Christopher Bell redeems himself this week. I think this is the race where he won the final of his 3 in a row he won. But I don't really know. Thank you for pointing that out, Dalton. Yes, he was 26 on speed last year. So he really, depending on how qualifying goes, I can't see him doing it again. Or 29th, I see you corrected. Yeah, 29th in speed. Maybe he'll get lucky and he'll do it again, but he's not very consistent. And that's my problem with picking Josh Berry is he shows flashes of speed, but they can't finish the deal. I mean, they're essentially just getting their technical alliance from Penske, but they don't seem to have the same performance as Penske when they run good. I mean, I want to go back and look because I forgot to look to see what the results for last week. But you kind of see a performance difference between Penske and Josh Berry and Wood Brothers. Go back see if I can find it. Yeah, he finished 20 or 59 laps down due to a crash, but his fastest lap really, these fastest laps really aren't doing him a whole lot of justice. Let's see there. Ryan Blaney's fastest lap was a 27.752. Josh Berry was a 27.941. So he wasn't even as fast as his Penske teammates or his Penske Alliance uh, partners, I guess it would be. I mean, I'm looking through just to kind of see where everybody kind of performed wise. I mean, Cendric got wrecked early. He ran slightly faster than Berry. Logano ran a whole half a second faster. So I mean, everybody for Penske has been faster than Berry almost on a consistent basis. But the sad thing is you can't say that for every team in their alliance. JGR is kind of competitive with 2311. They have the same technical alliance. Hendrick and Spire, they're pretty close in technical alliance.
You know me. I like to pick the underdog, so
I understand the underdog, point behind that, and I can't really argue it. But at the same time, I can't pick Josh Berry. There's something about Josh Berry that I don't have enough consistency to think he can actually do it again. I mean, he's won a lot of races, in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. It was the Xfinity at the time. But I can't really do it. Russ is down here picking on me. But I don't know. There's something about Berry that makes it really hard to pick him for consistency. I can't see it. Honestly, my pick is for for Phoenix this week. I kind of got to go Joey, and I know Dalton's going to be really excited about that. I saw him in the comments. I kind of can't bet against Joey because for some reason that track has been really good to him. And honestly, I know that I'm gonna get myself in trouble, but because I pick on Dalton all the time about Joey and how he runs. We always pick on each other in the races with William Byron, which is B Rev or whatever it was. We were having fun with that.
I'll forgive you as long as you don't pick Wallace.
I mean, it's hard to pick him at really any track. The only one that I give him somewhat credit for doing good at is Talladega. I mean, that track has been home to him for like every historical event for him. But there really isn't a whole lot of, there isn't a whole lot of tracks he's consistent at. Although Kansas and Talladega are probably his best tracks, but in general, Kansas is his best track.
Now, Larson has done well at Vegas in the past.
He has, but with the new Chevy body, I feel like Chevy has really dropped off with performance.
So,
and I support Chevy, but at the same time, I there's a lot of problems I see with their performance currently. I mean, right now I see Tyler.
That's the damn truth.
I will agree to that, Dalton. That is a very accurate statement. Somehow that always happens. But currently, the point standings in the Cup Series: there's Tyler Reddick in first. Ryan Blaney is 60 points back. Bubba Wallace is set third, 72 points back. Um, yes, they've got their own gremlins to work out, Dalton. That is an accurate statement. And that's why it's hard for me to pick one of them to win this race. Is I know that Kyle Larson is really good, but at the same time, this has not been the start to the year that Hendrick is used to or Chevy's used to. I mean, in the top 5 alone, there's only 2 Chevys. One of them is Chase Elliott. The other one is SVG. If the season ended right now, SVG is in the top 10 in top 5 in the chase. Who would have thunk that? I mean, there is in the top 10 in points alone, there is one, two, at least 3 Fords. There's 3 Toyotas and 4 Chevys. Or yeah. Did I count that? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. There's 4 Chevys. 2 of them are Hendrick. One of them is Elliott. The other one's Larson in 10th. You got Michael McDowell, which is surprising he's that high, and SVG in 5th. Now this season's going to shake up the points a lot, but I did not expect Tyler Reddick to be leading the points this early in the year. You got Bubba Wallace running 3rd in points. That has to be the highest he's been in points
Ever.
I think ever. SVG, I don't know if I've ever seen him in playoff standings don't really count because he was 2nd in standings for the playoffs last year, but now he's 5th, like 5 races in. Like that's a crazy stat that I would have never put on my bingo card for this year.
It's a long season, Nathan.
Some of the big names in the Cup Series are towards the bottom of the list. You got Alex Bowman, who's going to miss his 2nd race this week. Justin Allgaier is going to run the 48 car this week. You got Chase Briscoe, 33rd in points. Your buddy Josh Berry, 31st. Austin Cindric, 30th. I expect these guys to be like in the upper 20s, not like above 20th, but I expect them to be kind of mid pack there. Ross Chastain, 23rd in points. You got Kyle Busch, who's currently is 10 spots better than he finished last year in 20th. I mean, you've got Brad Keselowski. I think the field is 16. He's on the cutoff right now. Like, that's insane to me. You've got all these drivers that really don't show up during the season are towards the top of the charts right now. Like, those SVG, Bubba, and McDowell alone in the top 10 is a baffling fact to me because you almost never see them that high in points this early in the year, especially McDowell and SVG. Those are the 2 that really shocked me. So, I mean, when it comes to the O'Reilly Auto Parts series for this week, I can't really pick anybody against Junior Motorsports just because they're so good. But at the same time, I can't really argue with RCR because they've been good too. Like the 2 powerhouses are going to be the ones to compete with. I can't see, Chase Briscoe's in the 19 this week, but it doesn't count towards, the end of the season. It's owner's points. So you got all these guys in here. I mean, Kyle Larson is supposed to be racing the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. So you might as well just call that a Junior Motorsports win right now because ain't nobody going to beat him in that. I mean, that's cherry picking. I don't know. There's a lot going on in the sport right now. I'm kind of excited to see what happens, not this week's race, but next week, because next week is Darlington. And some of these paint schemes I've seen are absolutely fire. And there was a teasing that Carson Hocevar is going to run a Chili's Wrangler paint scheme, which honestly sounds like the coolest thing ever. I think they actually used the Ricky Rudd scheme, they said. But they've coined this photo the Intimidante car, which I thought was hilarious, first off. And second off, the paint scheme really doesn't look that bad. For those who haven't seen it, it's essentially Carson Hocevar's car with I believe it's the old Ricky Rudd Wrangler font and color scheme, but I believe they did the Chili's logo in blue instead of doing like Wrangler down the side of the car. They did the Chili's logo in blue, but it's the blue and yellow Wrangler scheme, which honestly looks really cool. I'm excited about that one. And then the truck series, I saw a bunch of Ram paint schemes that looked really cool. So I'm kind of excited about that. And then you got Roush Fenway Keselowski paying tribute to Greg Biffle. So they're all going to run different variations of Greg Biffle's number, which I thought was kind of cool. They're all different paint schemes. So it's kind of cool. They've got like a blue one, they've got a green one, and they've got the yellow one for Greg Biffle's paint schemes, which I thought was pretty awesome. I kind of like the way they did that. I think I saw somewhere they're going to do one in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series with the 16 car, which would be kind of cool. Can't confirm that because I didn't see much of the photo. I kind of saw it passing and then couldn't find it again. But I don't know. I'm excited for Vegas because I know that Darlington's coming up the week after. Even though there really is no throwback weekend anymore, there's still a lot of teams doing throwbacks, so I'm kind of excited to see what happens with all that.
You know, you could take the drivers. You take the throwback away from the drivers, but you can't take the drivers away from the throwbacks, man. I tell you what. And I'm glad to see a lot of these guys carrying it on. But
I'm going to show the Dalton post because, I mean, that is a very accurate statement. I really don't like his car for this week, although he did that one a few weeks ago that I didn't think looked that good. Okay. He did that one paint scheme a few weeks ago, and I thought it was the dumbest looking paint scheme ever. But when it came on track, it looked kind of cool. This one is just, it looks like they threw a bunch of bumper stickers all over the car. Like it looks like the people who drive down the road and just take it. You take the free bumper stickers, stick them everywhere you can in your rear window. That's what that car looks like to me. I don't know how to react to that. But I mean, I'm excited for Darlington week. I'm actually really excited for that week in general. Unfortunately, I will not be at the race, but I will be in the general area. We got an invite to go race at Millbridge, so I'm going to be trying my hand in the cage champ kart series down there with DNQ like a week from Monday. So, kind of excited.
well, Nathan, are you all finished up with your NASCAR side?
I'm finished up with my NASCAR stuff. There wasn't a whole lot of news to cover based on what's missing the post race. I'm excited for Las Vegas. I don't expect a whole lot new, but it is. You're like you said, it's a big stretch. When it comes to data wise, when it comes to the chase, I'm excited to see how that one works. Nice discussing that stuff with you, Dalton. Thanks for joining us.
All right, let's switch grooves to the dirt side. On the local side here in Ohio, well, the Attica Raceway Park opening night, which would have been tonight, was basically winded out because we've had
blown away.
Yeah, we've had 60 to 70 mile per hour winds all day here, so that's just crazy. But the sprint car world is officially in a clear split, like between the two major national tours right now, and the competition is just absolutely insane. We just wrapped up the Dega duel at the Talladega short track from March 6th to the 9th, and actually the 8th, I believe. But man, it was a history making weekend. The big story, well, Donny Schatz makes his comeback. After 18 years with Tony Stewart, he moved over to CJB Motorsports this year, and he is back with crew chief Barry Jackson. Now, on the 6th, the race on March 6th, he actually finally snapped the brutal 80 race winless streak that he's had and qualified second with an 11.88 second lap. He swept his heat and the dash and led the feature for his 317th career win. So check out the official results here. First, you got Donny Schatz. The drought is over. Second, Sheldon Haudenschild, which we haven't seen much of either. He set quick time at 11.681 seconds. That's fast. Third, Buddy Kofoid, a solid podium. Fourth, you had Bryce Lucius, the Ohio rookie. Rookie, I say that as a World of Outlaws rookie. Actually, really very good driver here on the local level. and fourth. I mean, this is what, second, third race out for him. I mean, he's done a heck of a job on the local level. So hey, it's good to see him up there. That's a career best finish for him when it comes to the World of Outlaws. So good for him. Glad to see him doing well. Fifth, we had Garrett Williamson. That was actually a really hard fought top five. Sixth, we had Bill Baylog. He actually won his heat, which was heat number one. Seventh, we had Carson Macedo, who charged from 13th to 7th. Eighth, we had Logan Schuhart, who is consistently in the hunt, and you can't hardly count him out unless he's having issues. Ninth, we had Dazen Persley, who's new to the KKR number 9, taking over after Brad Sweet retired, and he's looking good in this car. So, and 10th, we had Spencer Baston, a solid top 10 for the free agent there. So now the rest of the weekend was actually a bit of a bummer. The Black Ice Brawl at Magnolia got canceled due to the weather. So the points are frozen with David Gravel, Carson Macedo tied for the lead. And hey, the regional action was pretty hot too. Over there in Pennsylvania, Danny Dietrich actually grabbed a $6,000 to win payday at Lincoln for the second week in a row. And, he's off to a pretty good start this season. So moving over to High Limit, they just kicked off their 64 race season in Vegas with the Sugar Bee Blackjack Bash last night. The dirt track there is a world-class half mile with 10-degree banking, and Brad Sweet has actually retired from full-time racing to focus on the series and the NARC series that he now co-owns, which leaves a massive opening. So I want to run through our 15 full-time high rollers for 2026 and what the prospects look like. So you have Rico Abreu in the TSR number 24, who is also the defending champ. He's still the favorite. Aaron Reitzel, still his own crew chief, and if he stays healthy, he's a title threat. Definitely. Tyler Courtney, he's actually back from a vertebrae fracture, and he's still finding his form this year, but no doubt he's going to be in contention. Brent Marks, a new crew this year, and he needs that season-long consistency to be a contender. If you ask me, it's just my opinion. Dazen Persley now taking Brad Sweet's ride in the KKR number 9 or 49, which they changed their car to number 9. This is actually a learning year for the 21-year-old driver, so we'll see how he does with the series this year. I know he ran last year with the Outlaws, so moving over to High Limit with that much pressure on him, being that they are a franchise team, we'll see how he does, and I think he's got a lot to learn, but I think he's gonna learn quick and he's gonna adapt well. Gio Selzy, he's actually debuted for Spire last night, and he was winless since last March, but he actually looked really, really good in Vegas last night. So next we have Justin Peck, no more Ford engines, and a new crew chief. So lots of questions there. We'll see how that one goes. Tanner Thorson in the 88, developing that coilover car. That's interesting, but they're closing the gap fast. So we'll see how fast they can actually develop that car and get that car up front. Brenham Crouch, he's actually working with Tyler Swank now at CJB. He's got shots in his ear for help, being that they are now teammates. Chase Randall, year 2, but no more all-ball sponsorship, and consistency here is the goal. He's actually currently 13th, so in points. Tanner Holmes, well, he's obviously the favorite for the Rookie of the Year. He's got the qualifying speed now, and he's got the experience. Let's see if he can bring the speed and carry it through. Hank Davis, he actually took over to 17 GP and was a late addition, but that seat was Tim Schaefer's last year, so I was surprised to see Schaefer get out of that car. But Hank Davis is the wild card. Talented as hell, but limited 410 touring experience. So we'll see what happens with him there. And you've got Cy Lynch. He actually hired Heath Moyle from Mark's team, and he looks to He's looking for a breakthrough win this season and soon. Kerry Madsen, he's back this year in the Vermeer number 55, and he's hunting for a top 8 franchise charter spot. So remember, you have to finish in the top 8 both years to get a full-time charter spot for the next year. So you have to go these next 2 years, finishing somewhere in the top 8 to be guaranteed a charter for 2028. So right now he's currently 5th with 57 points. Danny Sams the third, pure talent, but resource challenged. Engine endurance is everything. So those are our top 15 high rollers for the high limit racing series this year, and we'll see how they do. But hopefully we don't lose a bunch of guys like we have in the past. But the season opener last night was just insane. Caution free, 25 laps, and a 0.096 second photo finish.
Wow. I missed that one.
So that was the third closest in high limit history. Kyle Larson, obviously in that Paul Silva number 57, actually charged from 5th to slide past Gio Scelzi on lap 18. Corey Day, who's pulling double duty in the NASCAR O'Reilly Series, actually hounded Larson through traffic, but just couldn't quite get him in time at the stripe. So the Vegas results, Kyle Larson, his 10th career high limit win. Corey Day missed it by just a whisker. Gio Scelzi, he led 17 laps, and he's actually the current point leader. 4th, you have Brett Marks, who was actually the pole sitter and finished 4th. And 5th, we had Tanner Thorson with a solid top 5. So, I don't know. It's looking good. I don't expect anything major to change tonight. Obviously, Larson and Day are going to be right back up there unless something goes wrong. But, Ty Gibbs also made a start last night, too. I forgot about that.
He took a wicked ride, I saw.
He took a hell of a ride. He jumped over, Day's right rear.
Didn't he clear the fence? I think I saw. He was
he
outside the fence.
He absolutely did, and it was insane. I mean, absolutely insane. But I'm trying to pull up my notes from that. I forgot.
While you're doing that, I want to give a shout out to Albert. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, so I'm sorry. But I want to make sure I give you a shout out before I forget, because I didn't see that comment come up while we were talking about NASCAR. So I want to make sure I reached out to you and give you a shout out.
Oh, yeah. I didn't. I was looking at the other screen, so I didn't see
I completely missed it somehow, but I don't know how to pronounce it. I was trying to read what the comment said. Oh, no, I'm reading the closed captions on my screen. I realized what I was doing. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Albert, so I don't want to botch it and make it really bad. But I want to make sure I give you a shout out. I think I do remember you, but I'm not sure. We met a lot of people that weekend. And I met a lot of people when we were at Bristol, too.
So we got to talk about the rough stuff. Like I was saying, Ty Gibbs had an ugly one. He jumped Corey Day's right rear. He went for a big tumble right into the fence, and it was only his 8th career start in a 410. So
got some learning to do.
I don't know if you want to dial back expectations or not, but you have to wonder.
I don't think they were very high to start with.
You got to wonder what Joe Gibbs Racing thinks about all this. So,
well, he's not in team meetings. He must be on track getting hands-on, yes.
Well, there was also a non-wing USCS car that went through the fence.
I think that's the one I saw.
He went through the fence into the hospitality area. And that
That's
had to be
nice.
scary for not just the driver, but everybody around.
What's up,
And
Anthony?
the driver was okay, but for the track, a track like Las Vegas, I mean, you would expect much better catch fencing
Yeah, I'm a little
and more,
surprised by that.
something more like you see around, Charlotte or Texas, being that they are also NASCAR tracks, and they've got to fix this. And
Yeah.
I tell you, it's ridiculous. But the talk of the pits though was the team DGRD and JJ Hickle were actually there. Now team owner Dennis Gainey is actually in the middle of a $5 million civil suit that blew up on social media just recently.
Uh-oh.
And I won't get into the whole suit, but some people were like wondering, well, why is he, here? Why is he out of his home state? Blah 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 blah. Well, you got to look at it like this, and remember, this is a civil suit. This is not criminal. So there are no restrictions. He can't be restricted to stay home, and it's perfectly fine for him to go out and campaign his car. Now, JJ Hickle was driving that car, actually missed the feature, and he took sixth, I believe, in the B main. And not a great night for them. So I'll leave it at that. I was going to say something else, but I'll leave it at that.
You gotta keep it professional.
Yeah. So roster prospects and the Texas two-step is kind of what I'm calling all this shuffling that has been going on in high limit, along with the drive as far as it goes for the driver changes, and also their new sponsor change. Actually, Kubota left high limit and they brought in Interstate Batteries. So at least they have something it's pretty neat to see Interstate go from, you've seen them in NASCAR. Now you see them in sprint cars, and you haven't really seen them in dirt racing a whole lot. So
No.
I think it's
It
pretty
is kind of
interesting.
interesting seeing that too, is because Interstate sponsoring High Limits. That's also the main sponsor on the 20 car this week. So lots of JGR happenings. You got Ty Gibbs on track, wrecking. You got Interstate Battery, who's a JGR sponsor. You got everybody everywhere. And yet they still
Yeah.
can't find the personnel that will, steal their secrets.
So I know you have to get on the road, Nathan, but before we wrap up, let's talk big picture. The racing world is changing, and we're looking at the new 2026 Formula One regulars, and drivers are complaining, or Formula One regs. I don't know why I said regulars. And drivers are actually complaining about super clipping, which basically is the cars slowing down because of battery depletion. Meanwhile, our 410 sprint cars are still at, 900 plus horsepower, and that's just pure raw manual control. That's why guys like Larson and Ty Gibbs keep coming back to the dirt. High Limit's a high roller club, and it is building a sustainable model that looks a lot like stick and ball sports. And I think it's the future of sprint car racing. But bottom line, whether it's Donny Schatz proving legends never die, or Larson and Day slugging it out in the Vegas dirt, 2026 is actually going to be a wild, wild ride for sprint car racing. The Outlaws hit Texas next for the Texas two-step at Kennedale on March 13th. And make sure you're actually tuned in, because that's going to be a good one too.
Yeah, if F1's having battery issues, then maybe they should switch to Interstate Battery.
Good point. But remember, guys, we bring you race recaps, breakdowns, and all those insane adrenaline-packed moments every week. Whether you live for those sideways, mudslinging, dirt track sliders, or the door-banging, paint-trading action of NASCAR, you belong right here. Hit that subscribe button now so you never miss a finish.
It's
And
somewhere
until
over here.
And until next time, keep switching grooves. I'm Russ Fritz.
And I'm Nathan Johns.
So we're saying race hard.
Stay safe.
And we'll see you there. Good night, everyone.
Bye.